Hey everybody, welcome to the Aligned Love Podcast. This is the place where I'm going to help you find the one thing that you feel is missing, healthy love. I am your host, Lauren Zoller, and in this podcast, I will share with you how to attract love, live in alignment, and elevate your deepest relationships. So buckle up, get present, tune into your body, and open up to the possibility that you truly do get to have it all. Let's dive in. Margot, hi. Welcome to the Align Love Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited that you're here because this is actually, we talked about this before you came. We were going to do this podcast episode after the big announcement that we're about to make, that's about to happen tomorrow. But we decided to do it before because I want people to get really excited. And then I want them to go and look at my page and be able to see what actually happened and how it all turned out. So before we even talk about what the big exciting announcement is, I'm curious, tell everyone who you are and what we're even going to be doing together.
That's amazing. So I'm Margot and I'm a fine jewelry designer. I specialize in ring design. And it was actually after I met you that this new experience kind of went to the next level. And it's so exciting. It's been like an excitement deep in my heart since we talked, honestly. And you gave me this great idea of turning, the jewelry design process into a grander experience for people. And especially for women who really deserve that and need that, they need that assurance of, this deep sense of you are worthy to do this experience and you are worthy to have this piece of jewelry. And it just makes me so excited.
Yay. I'm excited too. And something that really resonated with me when I saw you speak, because we met through a brand builders event. And if you've listened to the podcast, I talk about brand builders all the time. But I remember hearing you speak and talking so deeply about the emotional connection that is tied to jewelry. And I think because I work with women who they are successful and they really struggle with finding that deep partnership, and they struggle to find men that can hold them there, but also be in partnership with someone else. They start to cultivate this deep love for themselves. And I know in my own journey, I'm 36 years old. It would be so amazing to find a man who would buy me an engagement ring. But I had this aha when you were speaking that I don't actually have to wait for a man to get me a ring because I love myself and I was like, this would be amazing if I brought her in and introduced her to my women who are also on this self-love journey of coming back home to themselves. So I know that you primarily have worked in the past with men to help get women engagement rings. But what I'm really excited to dive into together is that we're going to start to create an experience for women to create their own piece of jewelry that's going to tie them back to falling in love with themselves.
It's so special, honestly. And funny enough, even in the wedding world, most of my clients came together. So I would say about 90% is like a couple shopping together for the engagement ring. Honestly, when a man comes alone to us because of our process, we panic a little. And, because we really care about the woman and what she's getting. And we're like, do you understand what she wants? Do you really know what she wants? Like, it's really sweet you're here, but, we worry, honestly. So we are used to kind of designing with the woman because they usually come together and that's how they found us, right? They cared enough to find us because they cared about their ring. Yeah. And so we started talking probably late last year about this whole notion of, treating yourself and investing in yourself. And this, because in the jewelry world, it actually bothers me a lot, but you hear it all the time, right? A man will say, oh, I don't want my wife to know about you. Or, I'll have to hide my screen from my wife. And or a woman will say, I really want that. I'm going to ask him to get it for me. Or even the saddest one for me, I really hope one day I'll meet a man who will buy that for me.
Yeah.
And I'm just here to say, don't wait for that. You can buy that for yourself. Why are you waiting for him? Why do you feel like you need to wait for him? And when we say that, the response is overwhelming. Like, thank you for saying that. And I didn't even know I needed to say that to people.
Yeah, so true. It's funny, 2 days before we met at the Brand Builders event, I was following one of my mentors, Sophia Sundari, who I adore. And she had just gone through a massive breakup in her 30s. And she flew to Paris and she bought this beautiful ring for herself. And I remember feeling so inspired because I had too recently just gone through a breakup. And I was like, you know what? I am going to do that. Like I want, and my thought was, I'm going to France in a few weeks. I'm going to go to France and I'm going to buy myself a ring, right? That's what my budget is going to go towards. And then I swear to you, 2 days later after watching this, you stand up in front of everybody at BBG, talk about your mission. And I was like, the universe is insane.
It is.
Now I'm going to design a ring with this woman who I am so deeply connected to. I feel like, I don't know, we were sisters in a past life or something. But I'm so excited now to take this little bit of inspiration that I had, show everybody what it's like to, because, you know, Sophia did it. She went to Paris. She walked into a store. She had a magical experience. And when I came to you, I said, yeah, but I think that there's something deeper here. I think that we get to show women that it's a deeper marriage to themselves. And it gets to be this really beautifully curated process of, yes, you want a man to buy a ring for you, but also you don't have to wait to do that. Like you said, you get to have that experience yourself. So why don't we talk a little bit about the actual experience? Yeah. I'm super excited because I talk about the visions that I get. This vision, this download that I received is now coming to life tomorrow, which is really beautiful. And I know so many of the women that work with me are going to take advantage of it too. But talk us a little bit through when I came to you, what was your thought process? And now how are you bringing this to life? What are we going to experience tomorrow?
Absolutely. So funny enough, as soon as you said it, create this whole luxury design experience, I'm obsessed with experiences. I used to work in hospitality. I'm the kind of person that wants to find the Michelin star restaurants because I appreciate what those servers are doing, let alone the food, right? So I already love experiences. I love experience in travel. And I actually wanted to be a wedding planner at first because I love putting things on. And it's always been something. People who know me well know that. And it made me super excited. I'm like, yes, I want to put this together. This is amazing. And, secondly, what we can do with this just takes, because honestly, it's been a privilege for 8 years. I've been serving mainly the wedding industry, but it's a privilege now to go so much deeper with that, right? And to be able to, because jewelry is so meaningful. And actually how this came about at the same event, the name kind of the ring, is I was sitting at a table and this wonderful woman was with me and she is a little bit older. She was wearing her mother's ring and she goes, so I'm wearing my mother's ring right now. And I believe her mother had passed away already. And it's so special to me because it was my mom's. But imagine if I was wearing her legacy and she had actually designed this ring and it wasn't just one of her rings. And I can't even tell that story.
Makes me emotional.
Yeah, goosebumps. Because that's what it is, creating this deeper legacy. And women deserve that so much. And I think the problem is they don't feel like they're worthy to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So true. And it's funny. You sent me a questionnaire before we started asking me what my favorite piece of jewelry was. And I put down one, but I really have two. And both of those pieces were my grandmother's rings, right? Like the one that I wear all the time. And I walked in here, I'm like, how did I not wear any of my, it's because we're creating a new piece. But I always have it on, right? One of them is like this brown diamond stone that I don't even know where she got it, but she passed it down to me. And then she gave me her wedding ring and her engagement ring. And they are with me all the time. I never take them off and I always think about her. But what a beautiful way to say you're creating a legacy for whoever is coming after you to be able to pass that down to someone. So that's exciting. You have not shared with me the actual name of the experience.
No.
So are you going to share it now?
I don't think so yet.
Oh, no.
Okay. I'm still working on it. But, right now we have, I know the perfect name I think is going to come to us tomorrow is really what's going to happen. That's why. Right now, we're talking about the legacy ring experience. I have always called what we do the ring experience because it's much more than just coming and picking something. We're doing this for you, creating it to be exactly who you are. And so I know the perfect name's coming, but it's not here yet for some reason.
I mean, I don't know. The legacy ring experience is kind of, I don't know, or maybe it's not a ring because what if somebody wants something other than a ring? What if it's a necklace or We'll think about it. It'll come tomorrow.
It'll come, and you'll have to stay tuned to find out.
Yeah. So stay tuned. We'll have a program name soon. So tell me what I can, well, I guess you're not going to be able to tell me because you're going to kind of, I don't know, is it a surprise? I don't really know, but maybe you can give, let's do this. If you give someone a rundown of what they can expect or how they can expect to feel, because that's always my thing, right? How do we want to feel when we're in an experience? Talk about that.
Absolutely.
For tomorrow.
Yep. So my goal is that someone would come to this experience and they would feel like I already knew them so well. So, tomorrow I hope you leave and you know that I got Lauren. And Lauren was infused to all of the elements of the experience, right? And the experience was already so beautiful and amazing together that, the icing on the cake is when the ring's actually finished.
Yeah.
But you already leave that day, going deeper, like you said, into yourself. Maybe we unlock something that day. Maybe we give you permission to finally leave feeling like you deserve to live out your legacy, which would be my goal. And if I could even make anyone feel that way, I feel like, okay, I'm done. I did it because it's just so special. So there's going to be obviously basic elements, like some of your favorite things. And then I am going to add a few things in there that are surprises. That's why I can't tell you. Right. And then obviously the grand finale is going to be when the ring's actually finished and you get to wear it.
Which I'm so excited. Which we're going to have you back for the follow-up episode on when we actually reveal the ring. But I think, it's interesting because the work that I do with women really is the deep somatic work around what it means to actually feel worthy of something like this. And I'm going to get emotional, but knowing my own story, like there were so many times in my past where I would have never said yes to something like this because I didn't feel like I was worthy of, having something that I could leave as a legacy or really taking the time to pour into myself and say, no, actually, I do matter and I do get to create this for myself. So I think it's really beautiful that we're able to merge these two things because so many of the women that I work with are in this space of truly owning who they are and what they're worthy of receiving. I know for me, I hid I am bougie. I like really nice things. And for the longest time, I hid in so much shame around that. I remember, it's funny, my mom said to me a few months ago, she's like, it's so nice to see you in this space where you just are embracing the fact that you like really nice things and you're letting yourself indulge in them because for so long it was like you were doing it in the corner and kind of like hiding because I never felt like I could do that. There was always so much shame attached to it. And so what I really feel like this experience is going to do is give women permission to own all of themselves and who they are. And I'm just really excited to showcase it tomorrow.
I love that so much. You're actually reminding me. So back to our brand builders story, but I think it's Rory who always says you're best equipped to serve the person you once were. So I'm unpacking this experience. And of course, I'm excited because it's taking me deeper into what I want to do. It takes me deeper into a deeper level of passion, right? Than just creating the bougie thing perfectly. I'd like to, now I get to actually help someone at the same time. And I've always done that. All of my clients, they get their engagement rings, they feel that little bit of, wow, this is me, but it still came from someone else for them and it represents something else. And what's beautiful about the legacy ring is it's only going to represent you, right? Like if a man approached me and said, I want to get this for my wife, I'd be like, great, send her. Don't even try, send her because it's about her. But, in terms of that being best equipped to serve. So I dug into that and I thought, how is this me? And you know what it brought me to is actually really sad, but I never felt worthy. Even I was already married and I have a wonderful husband and I love him very much, but I didn't feel worthy in my marriage of who I am. And it caused a lot of problems between us. Yeah. And I was the girl who didn't feel worthy, even though I was married and even though Yeah. And I don't know if it's more apparent maybe when you're single because you're searching, but it took me a long time to realize that, it was me too. And to be able to change that for other people.
It's big.
It's big.
So what I think that you did really beautifully is talk about, you hit the nail on the head. You don't have to be single in order to really deal with this wound of feeling unworthy. And this whole experience, you know, I work with women too who are in relationship. They're not single, right? And they still don't feel, like you said, they don't feel worthy to be with the current partner that they're with. But doing that deeper work to be able to say, you know what, I actually get to create this legacy piece as a reminder every single day that I look down at my hand or see myself in the mirror, that I am worthy of. It's not just about the ring, right? It's so much more. It's so much deeper than what the ring actually represents. And this is why when you were speaking, I was like, she's one of my people. Like she's one of my, I can feel me in her, because this is why we do this work. It's so much deeper than just a ring or just finding your aligned partner or fixing your marriage. It's about really falling in love with yourself.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm excited, super excited for tomorrow.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm excited too.
So let me ask you this kind of before we wrap up for today. If someone is hearing this and they're like, ooh, I really want to know more, and I kind of want to start thinking about this process, about doing this for myself, what questions would you have them answer if they are really thinking about potentially going down this path of building a legacy piece for themselves?
Oh, I love that. I mean, first of all, give yourself permission to do it. If that's something you want to do, right? Like, don't feel shame. Don't feel like I can't do it. Don't feel like I don't deserve to do this for myself, because there's lots of ways you can do this. The special thing about jewelry is, I mean, we just talked about that in terms of a grandmother's piece or something. How many times has someone brought me their grandmother's stuff or grandfather and we melted into something? And, you know, life is fleeting, but for some reason, gold is not and diamonds are not, you know, and it is still there, and it's, you know, and it can be part of you. And that's what takes it to a whole new level for me in what I do. But I would say, yeah, give yourself permission and then start, you know, exploring why you want to do it. You know, go through that in your head. What is my motivation? Because I think that's going to give you a lot of things to answer. And then honestly, then reach out, because I don't think anyone needs to worry about what would it look like or how do I do that, because that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm going to walk them through that. So just the sentiment behind it. What do you want to create? What is your legacy? You know, I want to live in my legacy. I don't want to waste my life thinking I'm not worthy to do that. Take those steps, and then let's reach out and make a gorgeous piece of jewelry to represent it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So big. And I think the permission piece is the big piece in this, because I think a lot of women are going to listen and be like, oh my gosh, but you know, jewelry is expensive, or I really need to be taking that to pour it into something else. And that's why a man would get that for me. And I think as someone who works with women in this space, I know my women are going to be all over it, because a lot of them have healed their relationship to money, and they know, they're like, yes, I want that. Like, I'm ready for it. But I think if you're listening to this and you're thinking like, oh, I could never do this, this is where you get to get curious around why. And really asking yourself those deeper questions around the why behind it, challenging those thoughts, but also allow yourself to understand and really dig deep into, why would you want to create this for? I mean, I know for me to think about passing this on. I mean, even if it's, let's say I never have children, which is not going to be the reality, but let's say I never have children and I never get married. I have a beautiful goddaughter who is like my other half. She's like my child. To even think about giving her this when she's old enough to be able to have it and appreciate it and cherish it, and to tell her the story behind it, like, this is why I created this ring, that in and of itself is a big enough why to be able, because I always show up in my relationship to her, reminding her that she is worthy of whatever she wants in her life. And she doesn't need a man.
Beautiful. Right?
To show her that she can find that worth within herself. So just connecting to what is that why will fuel any decision. And anytime you approach a decision from that space, from that deeper why, the ROI is always tenfold. Right?
Absolutely.
Like, even if you don't think it is, it always is. So I just want to put that out there too.
Yeah, it ends up meaning so much more to you than you could ever imagine. And secondly, you just reminded me of something. So I actually dug into some research about when did women start spending money on themselves? And I looked into like the luxury handbag trend, because now, right, it's actually very strange. Women need permission to buy themselves diamonds or any other gemstone, okay? They don't really need permission to buy themselves gold, because we'll go do that at a certain price point. But there's something about stones that stops you. Like you said, is it too expensive for me? So I looked into the handbags and I was like, when did this start? It's only about 40 years ago. Wow. And there's so many things that we've had to break as women and break tradition and we didn't actually start treating ourselves until about 40 years ago, which is crazy to think. That's which wild. Is like basically my lifetime, which is kind of cool too. I'm like representing the change here. But, you know, they gave themselves permission to do that. So now if someone says, a lot of people have that 10K Chanel bag on their vision board, right? And they'll be like, yes, I got it. I met this milestone. But a diamond eternity band, it still stops them in their tracks. Yeah. You know, there's something attached to that that's like, no, I can't do that, or that shouldn't be on my board, or it's too bougie for me, you know? And that if I can break that in this lifetime, you know, and kill that trend, then I'll die in peace, because I hate it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. It's so funny because when I went to France, every single woman I was with, we went into Chanel. We were everywhere. We were in Monaco, which is like the epitome of luxury.
Amazing.
Love it. I feel like we need to do a retreat in Monaco. But everybody bought handbags, right? And to even that you saying that, there was part of me that's like, oh, but I really want a piece of jewelry. Like I want to find something that really represents this connection to myself. So I think that's a fantastic stigma to start breaking.
Yeah.
On why can we go and spend 10 grand on a Chanel bag that we probably aren't going to wear for the rest of our lives? Truly. I mean, think about it. When you have a handbag, like I have handbags that go with different outfits. I have some that I spent a lot of money on that I don't ever wear, but a piece of jewelry is timeless. Like it can go with anything and you can wear it for the rest of your life. So why wouldn't you invest in that?
100%.
Yeah.
And it'll last forever. Like that, back to that beautiful story. She's sitting there wearing her mom's ring. Her mom's not with her. Yeah. And, you know, unfortunately, handbag won't have that sentiment.
It won't.
No.
I do have one of my grandmother's handbags. It's like on its last leg. You know, it just doesn't last.
It doesn't last.
No. So one last question. I ask every single person that comes on the Align Love podcast the same question, and I want to know your answer too. What does it mean to you to be in an aligned relationship? And it can be, since we're talking about jewelry, it can be an aligned relationship with something you purchase for yourself or your partner or yourself. What does it feel to really be in alignment in relationships?
I think that's changed for me a lot because I'm going into year 12 now with this guy.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And I think it really comes down to being whole as yourself and him being whole as himself, and that you can support each other and, you know, lift each other up instead of trying to change each other. Because I think if you're trying to change each other, or all the time we tried to spend doing that, there was no alignment. You know, there was just conflict. Yeah. And so now, even him watching me do this new thing, you know, he can see I'm really coming into alignment myself, and I know he's excited about it for me. And to continue to cheer me on like that, I feel like way more aligned in our relationship than I would have before, you know? And so I think celebrating each other, who each other are and who they were created to be.
Yeah. It's big. It goes right back to everything we've been talking about. It's finding that wholeness and that worthiness inside of yourself.
Absolutely.
And then approaching a relationship from that space.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
So good. Well, I'm so excited for tomorrow.
Good.
It's going to be so great. So if you're listening to the podcast, make sure that you tune in and watch the recap episode, because we will do a recap episode once the actual ring is designed and delivered and all the good stuff. But make sure if you're listening to this that you check out Margot. We're going to drop everything in the show notes for you guys to check out. There'll also be a link in there for you to be able to contact Margot if you're interested in setting up one of these experiences for yourself. Margot, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me
on the show. I'll see you tomorrow.
Absolutely. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Can't wait.
That wraps up today's episode of the Aligned Love podcast. One thing that would really help me and the other new potential listeners is for you to rate this show and leave a comment wherever you tune in and listen. Also, make sure to link up with me on Instagram at Lauren Zoller, and please share this podcast with anyone who you think may enjoy it. Until next episode, remember, every transformation begins with one moment of awareness, and I hope today has been yours. I'll see you next time.